The man was a grown man.
Yeah,
He had matted hair.
Yeah, matted dreadlocks.
A huge jacket that was dirty, and he was a madman, of course.
Yes.
And so he held the gideri, so he was not speaking. He was looking at me hardcore and holding my hand, and I'm looking at him hardcore and holding the gideri, and he's taking trying to snatch the gideri from my hand, and I refuse to let it go. And literally, me and him are tussling over a packet of two packets. So actually, two packets of gideri.
In a place where they told you
Hi people.
Hi, good morning and welcome to today's vlog. Today we have a new video for you. It's going to be very, very interesting. But before that, for those who are new here, karibuni, welcome. My name is Kadogo, and as usual, I have here yes. So today's video is interesting, as I mentioned, and it's about an aspect of our childhood. Some of you may know, those of you who are our friends. Some of you might not know this, but it's an aspect of our childhood. It's a highlight when we were homeless. So the time we were homeless. So it's the same experience. We have the same but slightly varying memories of this time. So Blue is going to share with you what she remembers, and I share with you what I remember about this time. Memories of homelessness in childhood. So Blue, when were we homeless? Where were we living, or where were we not living? Why were we homeless? So you can start.
Okay. So with what I remember, we were in Eldoret at the time. So for those who know Eldoret, Eldoret currently is being called a city. It came up from being a small town. So nice place.
It's in the Rift Valley, by the way.
Very nice place. It's actually a very nice place. Cool, calm, and people are cool and calm. It doesn't have the speed that Nairobi has. And at that time we were homeless. We used to go to live. We went and lived in the church. That's Cathedral, St. Paul's Cathedral, St. John's Cathedral. I'm confusing it with St. Paul that's in Nairobi. Sorry. St. John's Cathedral. So we were homeless because Mom did not have money at the time to pay rent. And so there was an intermittent time between 2002 and 2004, or 2002 and 2004. That's upper primary. Then if we were thrown out of a house because there's no rent, or we have collected arrears of rent, then we'd go back to the church. The church was a safe haven for us, but a safe haven for Mom specifically. For our mother, it was a safe haven because she loved the church. She used to go there and pray in the chapel every day. She used to spend a lot of time in the church in her free time. And so that time she did not have money, and so we were now living in the church. So we did not live in these homes for more than 6 months continuously. It was very rare.
Very rare. On average, 2 months out.
2 months out.
2 months, 8 weeks out. 3 months.
It was quite unstable. And so now at the church, because we were such frequent squatters in the church. That's actually the right one. So because we were such frequent squatters, there were a group of good priests who banded together to help my mom out. It came out of their own volition. So I think there was an organization of some small hard mattresses. They were like mattresses. They are not mattresses. They don't have the softness of the mattress, but they are hard. And maybe the width of the mattress was this much. And then they had a hard tarpaulin like material. And so we used to sleep on that. We had one, so we used to sleep 3 of us. Me, Kadogo, and my mom on that one mattress in the cenacle, in the chapel. Sorry. So where we used to eat food. We used to eat food intermittently as well, because at first we used to eat food in the priest's house. There was a good cook there who was allowing us to eat food there, and the priests that were there. It changed later on. So remember, these are just details of the particular homelessness that we had. Further details of why and where, and deeper details will come up in other videos, because now we are starting to share. And where did we used to eat food? Yes, we used to eat food. Unfortunately, we did not have too much. We did not have too many clothes. So we had we literally had one dress, that blue outfit. Yes, navy blue outfit. Both of us had each navy blue outfit, but different patterns. So maybe Kadogo's would have buttons on this side, then mine would have buttons probably on the bottom side, if we remember correctly.
And then it was pleated at the bottom.
And so where did we used to shower? We used to wipe ourselves, so ni kujitawaza in Swahili,
Yeah.
but it means just taking like a face towel or whatever it is and wiping down the areas that need to be wiped down in the tap. There was a tap.
Near the priest's house,
right? Remember? Yeah.
And you have to shower very early in the morning, so before the people come.
Yeah, exactly. So at night, where did we used to go to the loo? The loos used to be closed. The public loo for the church used to be closed at night. So it means if you need to go for short call, you'll find a place because there were bushes around. But if you need to go for long call, then we would have to sort it out. Different. It's a bit tricky. Then there are ways of going for long call in public. In public. Yes.
Became specialists.
Well, became specialists by the way. Yeah. So there's a time. So there's where we used to eat. We do you remember it being such a perfect experience through and through? No, not quite. We didn't even used to study. No. There's the active studying where you take your books and study and read. And this time, remember, we were around class 6, 7, 8 throughout that, intermittently throughout that period. There was a lot of homelessness there, and that's when we were living in the church. But there was also other areas that we're living in. We did our KCPE of class 8. We did our KCPE in a hotel. So aside from that is later.
Hotel, rather.
From a hotel. Actually, we're in a hotel. Yes, from a hotel. So we had a lot of there were times we were a bit happy where we would try and look for good moments where we play and where we play around the chapel, or we play around the priest's house at the back.
There was compound. It was a large compound.
Very large compound. There was a huge tree that had was it mzabibu? Was it mzabibu?
Loquat. These yellow fruits, whatever they are called. Yes. Some call them loquat. But they are these nice yellow fruits.
Yes. Yeah. So we were playing those trees. If we had near the bookshop, there was a bookshop at the back of the priest's house, so we would settle around there. If there were a few kids who came and played with us, yes, well and good. If there were not, then we used to climb those trees, play, chill. But there were times also we would go and like talk to God in our different ways.
I did that also.
Yeah. Did you used to talk to God?
I did. I used to do that behind the church.
Yes. How did you used to?
I used to ask a lot of questions. The questions that we didn't have answers to. Me and my sister, we used to go to the back of the church, the same place you'd go to pee at night when no one is looking because the toilet is closed. We would go behind there and then we just look up and then we talk, and anything you want to say in a childish way, not really a prayer, but sort of a complaint and many whys. So we used to do that a lot.
And I think for me, I remember there's a point where I got so frustrated and I started shouting. Like I used to shout. I used to shout and ask why is this type of situation happening? Like there was it was bleak. Life was quite bleak. I don't remember whether we were in school actively.
The other time from church, we didn't even have school clothes. I can't remember where our things were.
We didn't have school clothes.
There's once I remember our things were locked in one of the houses where we couldn't pay rent. So we just had the clothes on our back and that's it.
So what else did we used to eat? If it's not in the priest's house, we would buy githeri. Okay, githeri is a mixture of beans and maize. It's a staple food in Kenya for one of the communities, but now it's a staple food for most communities in Kenya. And we used to eat that and avocado.
I love that.
It was actually very nice. And porridge, sour porridge. Oh my God. Somehow this combination was very delicious, but as eaten all the time, being the only meal that you're eating for kids, especially when other kids are eating lollipops and ice creams. It was not such a fun experience. How did my mom fare at that time? She used to be very reserved and quiet, so she used to spend most of her time just praying in the chapel. So there was a lot more that happened.
We'll discuss in part 2.
We'll discuss in part 2. We don't want to give everybody spoilers right now. There's a lot that we would share, but now we're giving you just snippets. So I think basically that's what I remember.
Okay. So when we come back, then now we discuss part 2. Memories from homelessness or memories of homelessness, my edition.
Yes.
See you soon.
Okay.
Welcome back, people, to part 2. So this is now where I remember. And as a lot of the things Blue has already spoken about, so we lived in church, St. John's Cathedral, and we were there intermittently, meaning we were there over these 3 years. Let me say we were there 70% of the time. Then we go to a house, then we get kicked out, then we come back to the church. So the church was our base.
Yes.
And so I have notes here, such from the things I remembered. And the priests were fantastic. So when we were going there to live there in the church, there was no formal arrangement. We just showed up there. And because my mom was such a faithful, how do I say? She was a faithful at the church, and she was also very common there. And the priests also understood her and understood the issues that she had. They would welcome us. So me and my Blue, we don't remember any formal meeting as from today.
No, there's no formal meeting.
Excuse me, from today you're going to be living here or anything. No, it just happened, and then we were there, and then everything was arranging itself based on the situation. And then another thing I remember is the bishop, the late Bishop Cornelius Correr. Fantastic man, very merciful. He knew my mom's, he knew our situation. And then he organized everything. So we got mattresses, we got a stable, peaceful, calm place. That's why I say, for me, I'll give my reflection about this later. But the church was fantastic. It was home finally. It was a place of rest. But he is the one who ensured, he's the bishop, and he was there almost every weekday. He would pass and greet us and have this discussion. It's almost what mercy looks like.
Yeah.
I remember him there. Sometimes talking to my mom, and you would see them talking, and then he goes his way. And he was the one with the final word. So he organized quietly that everything in that church supported us while we were there. That was interesting. Then, as Blue has mentioned, I remember also eating at the priest's house. We had I don't know, God bless them wherever they are. Mr. Njogu and his wife Njogu was the chef at that time. And it was lovely because he also was my mom's friend. So he was our friend, like almost like a family friend, because we had become close with them. And so he would cook and invite us. And then now the priests were used to us sometimes 1 or 2 meals per day. We would go and eat there. Now when the chefs changed, another chef came, his job ended or his contract ended. I don't know exactly what happened. Another chef came. And from that point, we couldn't eat there anymore, or my mom and that chef were not seeing eye to eye. So we were basically out of the eating system there. Then now we had to organize how we'll eat. Yeah. So one of the priests would organize for some youth. There was a youth group in the church. The youth would go and buy us food every day. One of the youth members would go into town and buy us fries. So we ate fries. And I'm grateful that we had food to eat, but fries, when you eat fries every day, you get sick of fries and tomato sauce.
And sometimes they're not the best.
No, they're not the best quality fries. And so that's the only meal for the day, was a packet of fries. We would share. Or sometimes when we are lucky, we'd have 2 packets. And then another time we would go all the way to the market. So we leave the church, we go to the market, the Eldoret market. Then we eat githeri, as my sister has mentioned, and uji, which is porridge. And then because the situation, the market, the place we would go to buy the food was very unhygienic. The women who are cooking the githeri are sitting here, and behind them, it's like a sewage. There's feces, live feces there. So my mom, when she got some money, she took us and we got vaccinated. So we were vaccinated against typhoid. Yeah. And so you would enjoy. You just start eating your githeri from your polythene bag, and there's avocado. And the avocados that time were not GMO. They were delicious. And so you chew your githeri, there's some feces behind there. It's really not a big deal. We were never sick. We had very good immunity. And then later on, we had no food to eat. I don't know what happened. Before I go to no food completely, this githeri at that time costed 5 shillings. So it's githeri and uji, 5 shillings. It was amazing. And I'll give a small memory that time. Tell us about when a madman wanted to fight Blue, and Blue was fighting a madman in the market for the githeri. And Blue was not letting that githeri go.
Yes.
Tell us
my God, that's amazing. I remember we were so desperate. Like you know that this is the only meal that you have to eat
for the day.
So for the day, imagine that one meal for the day. You don't know whether you're going to get another meal.
Yeah.
And so we had gone, and then I think my mom had bought the uji and then the githeri. So the uji was the porridge was packed separately.
Yeah, in a
polythene, colorless polythene, and then the githeri in a colorless polythene. So when I held she gave me one of them to hold, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So I held the githeri.
Yeah.
So when I held the githeri, randomly, because we're in the marketplace, of course, and there's so many
every market has
every market has its man, stroke, woman,
yeah.
stroke, gender conforming person. So this person, a man came out of nowhere from the back, and bumped my hand and held my hand to take the githeri. And I don't know. I was so short.
Yeah.
The man was a grown man.
Yeah.
He had matted hair.
Yeah, matted dreadlocks.
A huge jacket
Yeah.
that was dirty, and he was a madman, of course.
Yes.
And so he held the gideri. So he was not speaking. He was looking at me hardcore and holding my hand.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him hardcore and holding the gideri. And he's taking trying to snatch the gideri from my hand. And I refuse to let it go. And literally, me and him are tussling over a packet of 2 packets. Actually, two packets of gideri. Tussling over that packet of gideris, and the only way I was able to let go is that he pressed these he pressed here my wrist, and then these fingers automatically they
let go.
spring.
And before you continue, at that point, me and my mom, we are ahead, so we hear market women shouting like, "Hey!" So we hear them, we turn back. Hey, behind us, Blue is not there. Then we look. There's a small circle, not really a perfect circle of people have formed around, and there's a quiet showdown between Blue and this madman. Blue is looking up, fierce. No, she's not saying anything. The man is looking down, and there's a quiet tussle. They're struggling to remove the paper from it. It was, and I don't know, was it shock? We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. We just stopped and looked, and then it was there. It's almost like you leave them their moment to fight.
Yes.
And Blue did not leave that.
I did not let it go until
he pressed her hand in a certain way and and you could see on his face he also needed the food.
Yes. And so the gideri disappeared.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether we're given more gideri free.
I think so, yeah.
I think we're given
we didn't have any more money.
Have any more money.
To buy it.
Yes,
5 shillings.
Oh my God. That's an interesting
Fighting
memory.
days.
Yes,
That's an interesting memory. Okay. So then so basically we either ate in the priest's house. The days of eating at the priest's house were over. Then we would have sometimes the youth would buy us food. I think the money came from the church coffers, if I'm not wrong. Or now we would eat in the market if we had money to eat in the market. So food came when food came.
Yeah, true.
Then as Blue has mentioned, where we slept, we would sleep in the, Catholic churches have this prayer room. It's called a chapel, and it's a perpetual adoration. So there's the Eucharist in the front, and then it's open perpetually, every day and night. Thank God, because that was our home. Now that's where we slept. I love it beyond. Even now, I feel more at home there than in many homes. So at the chapel is here. The Eucharist is at the front. The seats are here, and then on the left side, there's a small room. Now in this left small room, it's a very small place, like 5 people can fit. Now there is where we would sleep. That was literally our home. So we had our things, a few paper bags, maybe of clothes, and then the mattress that we'd share. 3-inch mattress, hard, maybe a military mattress. That's where we would sleep, the 3 of us. But it was cool because the whole floor of the church was carpeted. So it was cool. It really didn't feel funny.
Yeah.
And and she's mentioned, as Blue mentioned, there was no toilet, but that we figured it out. It's funny how the human being can figure anything out. Like shut the toilets. It's like naturally we were in bushes anyway, so these toilets came with white people. If the toilets go, you still relieve yourself. And it was interesting because when you're at the back there peeing at night, there's a place in the wall comes like this, then has a small nook, so you hide and no one can see you from this side, but you pee looking at that side, making sure that nobody comes to catch you from that side. So that was an interesting time. Peeing was always a sport.
Exactly.
So and then now our next thing, next thing that I remember is how, like, a day in the life when we were in church. So church has its activities every day, whether it's a Catholic church, whether it's a normal the other churches. So every time there used to be like a wedding. Weddings not so much, but funerals, masses, prayers, choir practice, all of them, we were spectators there. It was really enjoyable. For the weddings, sometimes we would crash. We were well-known gate crashers at the wedding itself. I remember sitting in the church and you're looking at the couple and they are wedding each other. Then next week again, you're there in a wedding. Then the other week, you're attending a funeral. Then people are queuing to see the dead body. We're looking at the dead body and it looks like it's made out of clay. So those were interesting experiences. And then also, we used to go around the compound a lot. That was a lot of fun. As a child, church being our home and our base, our home in quotes, the compound of the church was very, very big. So we had the entire compound to play. Morning, we are playing up there, near the library. There's another building that they started building, then they stopped. So playing there, and we used to play, sometimes there was a dog there or a cat to play with because the children were all in school, and this is weekdays and we are not in school. And just to add a point, Blue has mentioned we're not in school. Like the entire time when we're living inside the church, from like that's our home, we're not going to school that time. And yeah, I reflect now that it's just as Blue mentioned, it's interesting how we never failed exams. We would pass all the exams as long as they're written in English, a language we were excellent in because we're reading constantly, and my mom and us would speak in English. So anyway, weekdays there were no children, so it was just us and our playing. Then lunchtime we go play the other side of the church, so that was fun, climbing trees, singing and doing all our stuff. So yeah, that part was fun. And then there used to be this prayer called Cenacle. Cenacle is like a Catholic prayer. It's a prayer by the Marian movement of priests where you pray the rosary, you pray for the Pope, you do some meditation. So we used to attend these prayers every time they were there, usually daily. And sometimes we would attend these prayers when we're living in church, but also we would attend these prayers the times when we had a house to live in. And when my mom was able financially, because we would really not like these prayers, they were boring to us as children. Imagine as a child, you have to sit through a prayer and it doesn't even make sense. And at that time, as I can speak at least from my experience, my relationship with God, I used to see that this situation is not really normal, or other children are not living like this. And I'm watching the adults and they're praying fervently. My mind doesn't yet understand that one day an answer will come. So what I'm seeing in my reality, I'm seeing like it will be there forever. So this God, this person didn't make any sense. Like you're praying to someone and this someone, are they choosing the prayers to answer or whatever? So it didn't make any sense. So my mom saw the resistance, and now she made a deal with us. She said, 10 shillings. For 10 shillings, each time we attend the cenacle, boring prayer in our mind at that time, she would pay us 10 shillings. So we would sit there in the cenacle for this whole 1 hour. And then at the end of that, we have 10 shillings. If she didn't have the money then, it was written down. So after 5 days, I have 50 bob. And Maria has 50 bob. So, and then on Sunday, we usually attend now the big mass. You know, Sunday, everyone is coming, our friends that would come and meet us in the church. Now we also had money at least to buy ice cream. Now remember this time is when my mom had some money and we were living in the house. But when we're in church, you attend those cenacles on debt. My mom will pay the debt later. That was a very interesting time.
True.
Yeah. And also I remember another time when there were IDPs in the church. I don't know what happened. Was it a political? There was fighting. These IDPs looked like Maasais or Samburus. They were traditional people. And there were so many in the church. And now that was a problem for us because our home, it's like our home was invaded. They were all over the place. They were collecting firewood. They were full in the compound. Collect firewood from outside the church. They come to cook in the traditional way. I remember there's a time we are walking down in the road and then we see a big traffic jam. So unfortunately, one of the children, because she's a villager, she doesn't know about traffic. You know, you have to wait for cars. So she has her big bundle of firewood and she just walks into the road and a trailer crashes her. And so that, and you know, me and my sister, we ran there before my mom can stop us. And we're in the front line looking at a dead body of a child.
Oh my God.
And the brain. I found that very fascinating, not traumatizing at all, because I like medical stuff from way when I was a child. So anyway, now inside our home, which is the church, there were these IDPs. Oh my God, they were everywhere. And this is the time the toilet was full. You want to go do your thing and the toilet is full, not of people, but full of things.
You know.
Hey, piles. So yeah, that was the only time I felt like, oh no, our home has been invaded. But apart from this, that was a pretty interesting time. Yeah. But my mom tried, though she had a lot of challenges at this time. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think my mom tried very much. Just to mention, my mother passed away in 2021.
Yeah.
That's 12th March, 2021. Then the memories tied the mind. Yeah. And we later on, me and Kadogo got tattoos.
Yeah, we have tattoos here of her name.
Her name here and mine here, just in remembrance. But what she really instilled in us is, first of all, the love for reading.
Yeah. So
my mom was very quiet, reserved, didn't have, apart from the issues which we will mention in a later video, as we have said initially, apart from those issues, when she was calm and relaxed, she was very reserved, shy and quiet. So she taught us how to read novels and comics. She bought us as Kadogo had mentioned earlier about Enid Blyton, the Enid Blyton author. We had several Enid Blyton books. We had several comics. We used to read, and anytime we felt that something was negative, or we felt that things were becoming overwhelming, and the situation seems too bleak for us, where we don't know where our future is leading to, we don't know whether we'll go to school or not. At that point, we used to go and delve into our books. So our books have, apart from my mother, has saved our lives, even as she was okay. And now a little bit of tidbits and spoilers. As she was okay, she saved us. As she was not okay, still, she saved our life. One, and the second is our books. The skill that she taught us and the love for reading that she taught us literally saved our lives. Because when you go there, we find solace. We engage our imagination, we smile, we are happy. It's a beautiful experience.
Oh God, it was heaven.
And she tried her very best, with or without having money, with or without being kicked off from one place to the other, begging from one hotel to the other for us to get just a little bit of a small meal, even if it's just chips. We were so hungry, we were sharing one plate of chips. And us, we are so hungry that we are eating that chips, but my mom barely eats anything. She just takes like two or three pieces. Then we take the rest because we are hungry. At that time, it's just our instincts and our hunger is just talking on our behalf. But she tried her best to provide the food the best way she could. She tried her best to provide the comfort in the best way she could, and she tried her best to provide ultimately love.
A lot of love.
In whatever situation, however negative, however bleak, however bad, the love was always there. The love was always felt. She wanted to be with us regardless, and she never complained. And she wanted to be with us whether she was managing or not managing. She wanted to be with
amazing,
us. So I wanted to give her, that's an acknowledgement to her.
God bless her wherever you are, Mami. As you rest in peace, thank you for that. And a short addition, these novels we used to read, our favorite author in childhood was called Enid Blyton. An English author. Fantastic books. My mom would buy us the entire series. So when my mom had money, before we buy food or shortly after we buy food, my mom would cater to our novels. We did not have TV growing up. The only time we saw TV is when we go to relatives' houses or friends' houses. So we didn't have TV growing up. And I think I would raise children, or anyone in my home, I would raise them that way. Television screens, not too much. Because of this, our English was beyond excellent. Like we excelled in school. We're not in school. We have been out of school. When we're in Eldoret, we're barely going to school. But when we do step in that school, we are go to straight to the top of the list. And we've not read, as long as the question is written in English, we'll pass that exam. So that was a very interesting memory of that. So now I have some reflections that I would like to share. Like, how has this thing affected us? Blue, I'll share mine, then Blue can also share hers.
Yes, exactly.
So some reflections from this time. Like right now, when I think about it, you see, everything a child goes through in childhood or when they are younger, it has some effects. So for me, I feel at home in church more than anywhere else. Remember, we spent a lot of time here, and the church, as Blue mentioned earlier, was our safe space. So shit can hit the fan, things can go wrong, you can reach rock bottom, but the church always, especially the one in Eldoret, gave us always a home and a peaceful base. And that's exactly what we needed at that time in childhood. And I think I would give them their shout out, and any other religious institution that actually does the purpose which religious institutions are supposed to do, which is to provide that home to not only for people to come worship, sing, and give sadaka, but also to truly be there when you need it. So that's, I do feel at home there more than anywhere else. Another effect I've noticed, material attachment. I'm not attached to things up to this point. Very comfortable wherever I am. Like we grew up with nothing. We did have things here and there, but you see, your constant state, you don't have anything to your name. So right now as an adult, I notice that I'm not really attached to things. Whether I have something, whether I don't have something, I'm completely at peace. When it's not there, when I have it today, when I have it for 1 week, home, TV, all these things, they really don't matter to me. I think peace matters the most. And when I think about it now, it's a positive effect, because you see the way people can be miserable. Like if your house catches fire, which is you never wish for that. But if it does happen, some people would go mad. Some people would be highly affected. My only concern would be my certificates are safe, and that's it. Everything else can go. More things. That's just my experience. I'm not attached to anything because we grew up without those things, but we grew up with the most important things. So another thing I've learned when I reflect back, there's a very clear difference between how you will be treated. Rich people versus poor people. We were shown so much mercy And there's a time we were homeless, and then we were living in church, left church, went and lived with one of the priest's sisters. She was completely poor. And she lived in a place called Mailine, which in English means 4 miles out of town. This woman was so poor. She lived in a mud house, and the mud house is so dilapidated. If one strong gust of wind comes and slaps that house, the house is down. And she used to sell changa. So there's a lot of alcoholics there, the drunkards. Of course, it's not an ideal place for children to grow up. But ironically, as we lived with her, we have never been treated with so much love and being welcomed. And we're treated like royalty in that place. She completely understood the situation. She doesn't have anything. Hey, she barely had anything. And yet she's giving us everything she has. I said, where this woman, even as a child, I found it interesting. Everyone is treating you with kindness there. She would serve food, the little food she has after selling her changa. Changa is a traditional liquor. And then she would serve me, my mom, my sister in the best plates, and they would eat from these blue band tins. So God bless her. I don't even know if she's still alive. We've not gone to Eldoret in a long time, but God bless these kind of people. Now that contrasts, somebody can ask, did you people not have relatives? Did you not have friends? How come you didn't go? So we would go once in a while, like would go back to Nairobi. We had relatives there, the sisters of my mom, and we would stay with them for a while. And they also tried, most of them or some of them tried their best, providing us a home when we needed to a place to stay, and providing payment for school fees, which we truly appreciate. You see, the ones who did that with all their heart, we truly, truly appreciate. And then in childhood, I have to point out, this is now the contrast. Most of the times, when we lived there with the relatives, it was a very different experience. Yes, you have a house. Yes, you have food, you have water, you have a roof over your head. And then there's the thing that's missing is the thing that you actually really need, which is the love. So we would feel how we would be treated there, especially by some of them would be treated in a way where you feel like you're total inconvenience. In fact, some would actually say to you that, everybody else has refused to stay with you. Now I'm the one to carry the burden. So yes, you're paid for things with money, and then these things are also hung over your head. Like, I'm doing this for you, I'm doing this for you. So the consequence of that is, after everyone has made it clear that you're a burden, it feels better to be homeless in church or with strangers than to be with most of the relatives. You see, those are my reflections there. And that's how I felt most of the time. If I remember this time in childhood, I don't feel like it was traumatic, especially the homeless time. Why? I had Blue, I had my mom, I had myself, we had our books. Money comes, money goes. Food can be there, food cannot be there. I'm not even attached to food up to today. There's not a problem. But we had a lot of love. My mom, as I've mentioned, she never complained. She never, she's going through the worst. She's at rock bottom. But we still had time to sing and to dance our Catholic songs and to be happy. We saw her happy, and that's all I think a child needs. So, and it's interesting when I reflect that right now. Like, if there's a child in my vicinity, I would first of all make sure that I never communicate to that child that you're not wanted or you're a burden. Never ever. And anyone who's in that situation right now, it's better to say no to accommodating a child than to accommodate a child and pay with money. So you think you're doing something good, but I'm telling you, it's more courageous to just say no to accommodating that child than to accommodate the child, and then you leave a trauma dent. No, I
agree.
It's not. Be courageous and say no. Don't accommodate a child and then the child leaves there with trauma. No. Being homeless is seems traumatic. Maybe it is in some cases. In my experience, however, it was more traumatic to be this feeling of being an inconvenience in other people's houses was more traumatic to me than actually having no home, you see. So up to this point, I'm just happy with when I have Blue, when I have my novels, I'm still happy. The same things that would make me happy as a child make me happy as an adult. And maybe another effect, I'm not in people's homes these days. Is it the same for you? Like, there's a PTSD of living with people. Maybe if they are friends, once or twice, but another effect from childhood is that I will not be seen in a person's house. There's a post-traumatic stress disorder from that constant communication that you're an inconvenience there. I usually say sometimes when I'm telling my friends the story, I say, heri madharau ya mtu maskini kuliko madharau ya mtu akona pesa, utajiri, which means sometimes it's better to be looked down upon by someone who's poor like you than to be looked down upon by someone who has money and hanging it over your head. Sometimes it's better, you deal with people who are at your level. And a lot of homeless people you see, like chokoras, you think they're so miserable. They're happy with each other. I repeat, it's not ideal for children to grow up that way. Ideally, a child should have a home, should have food and everything. But as a child who's gone through that kind of trauma, as people would call it, I think it's the best thing is just for a child to have love. Everything else can come and go, but the child has love. So in the moments we were homeless, my reflection is those were some of the best times because we were homeless, but we had love. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Do you have any reflections there?
I do have reflections. I'll share them, but I'll just share one thing about that I've remembered about our mother. She was loved. What Kadogo has said, she was loved by street boys, street children.
Yeah.
They loved her. How do you struggle and how do you move on in this life where you have so many issues, things are not working out, but you have a group of people who are extremely vulnerable who love you.
Yeah.
She would use whatever money she had to buy for them food.
Yeah.
She buys for them. She brought up a group of them. By the way, she used to go to the supermarket, buy a few items, call them and tell them to go and share.
Yeah.
And she gives them. There are places that my mom would go in the marketplace, and even when she was having her own issues with people, etc., which we said we're going to mention in other further videos, these children would identify her and call her and tell her, tunakupenda, in English, we love you. And they call her the mother. She treated them well.
Yeah.
So sometimes before I get into my actual reflections, what I can say is I concur with what Kadogo has said. How do you treat someone? The treatment of someone is what someone will remember. They might not remember. There's a saying about that. You will not remember what someone has told you,
but you remember
a word, but you remember how someone how someone will remember how you made them feel.
Correct.
That one is something that we have experienced, and something that even you, if you think about it in your own life, you will have seen that you've experienced.
Yeah.
So I will share my reflections in a few.
Okay.
Okay. Hi again.
Hi.
Yeah, so we were talking about reflections. Yeah, so further reflections, I was to add the further reflections. What I learned from particularly the experience we had of the homelessness situation is that we can glean positivity. We can glean something positive out of a very negative experience. And that's something that we've seen time and time again, even right now as we have grown up, we've seen it time and time again. But it doesn't matter how bad a situation is, somehow, with the right mindset, somehow we're able to look in and see something positive out of it. So, for example, Kadogo had said earlier that she somewhat loved the experience of the experience that we had, even if we were living in church, because there was love at the end of the day. Even if we did not have, even if there was a lot of lack, but there was love. Sometimes with love, sometimes we define love differently. But that feeling, basically, let's just say that good feeling, that feeling of acceptance, that feeling of being wanted, that feeling of being chosen, it's a feeling that carries you, even if you're having a hard time, even if you're eating your githeri and your maize and beans. We'll put it down there. So it's maize and beans. So even if you're eating your maize and beans and porridge and whatever little that you have, that feeling of being accepted and that feeling of togetherness and that feeling of love is there. And so that one carries you forward.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't come from biological family, like in our case, a lot of the unconditional acceptance came from priests, came from random strangers. So that's why we felt more. So this love can actually come from, family is there, is given to you by blood, but you didn't choose. But the people who choose you unconditionally, they are sometimes even better and give you that feeling of love. So that's why.
Yeah. I like what Kadogo said, and in addition to that, we've had the same experiences, close to 3/4, almost that full percent of our life, but we have gleaned things differently. We have gleaned different things from the experience that we have had. Kadogo's memory has served her much better than mine. I've suppressed a lot. Trauma does that to you. Sometimes you over remember, sometimes you suppress and hide behind a rock. Like we could put it symbolically, hide behind a rock. But the point of that aspect is any negative experiences that happen to you, suppression comes when you don't want to face that situation. And the issue with suppression is that when you suppress memories and you suppress things, you don't remember. In that particular time, you don't remember, but nothing remains suppressed for too long in the subconscious mind. It expresses itself. So the problem is it expresses itself at points where you do not know. So for instance, if it was me, if I'm angry about something, if I'm frustrated, if I find myself throwing a tantrum, we throw tantrums even when we are older, by the way. Different ways than when we were children, but we do throw tantrums when we are older. I throw a tantrum, I get angry, I get livid about a certain situation, I overreact in a certain situation, is because there's something that's making me overreact, and something it's like a trigger. Yeah, and it's not outside me, it's inside me. So the point is, for people out there who are going through challenges, because every single human being, one way or the other, goes through challenges. Doesn't matter how rich you are, doesn't matter how many jets you have, how much money you have. There's one or two challenges. There's an aspect of your life that might not be going as successful as you want it to go. But even with the challenges that you're going through, you can always get something positive out of that challenge.
Yeah.
And also, if you want, like us, we have decided that this is a platform for people who are going through issues. This is a platform we're going to share our experiences, because they're our experiences, they're our feelings. We reserve the right to have them, and so we are expressing them. This is our chosen platform to express them. Everyone can have a chosen platform to express. One person might choose a friend, another person might choose a relative, another person might choose a mother, father, sibling, another person might choose the air. Someone can go to the ocean and stand in the water and just talk. Someone can talk to themselves. You can choose a wall and talk to the wall. Whichever method you choose, the point is, express those negative, let them come out.
Yeah.
And Kadogo has a very good method. For her, she's a writer.
Yeah.
So she writes down her thoughts a lot, and journaling is very important also. It helps you express, so that they're out of your body and out of your emotions, and you've dimmed those negative emotions. They have gone to a book and a paper. So if you want to burn that book, then you can burn it, make a ceremony and burn it by yourself, with friends, anyone you care about. So it's important for you to express them, so that even if you suppress things, because human beings do sometimes suppress negative emotions. Positive emotions we don't suppress.
No, we express
them.
Yeah.
So negative emotions are the ones that are suppressed, because we want to be in a society where we are proper. We want to pretend to each other. When someone can come to you and smile at you and say, hi Kadogo, you're so lost. I've not seen you for so long. You don't care about Kadogo, but you're asking, you're telling her, I miss you. I've not seen you for so long. Please, let's see each other again. You don't want to see the person again. Please don't pretend, but you're saying it. But that's now, we pretend a lot to it. We are very inauthentic towards each other. Maybe it's a fabric of society. We want to all remain proper in society, but sometimes it becomes a bit much. And so it's important to become the most authentic. If you lose friends because of it, and you lose family members because of it,
well and good.
Well and good. Yeah. I'd said in a previous video, don't wait until you're 90, 80, 100 years old to be able to tell yourself, these things I should have done when I was younger. You can do it right now. You can make those decisions right now, and I think they'll work for you. So express those negative emotions the best way you can. If you are a private person, perfect. If you're not a private person and you feel like you want to share your experience and you're not embarrassed doing it, very good.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think the last one had been about making people feel worthy. And Kadogo will add something. She's very important points in terms of that, making people feel worthy and making people feel acceptance.
100%. On that point, I have a small reflection on that. Be careful how you make people feel. When we remember this, like we were having discussions, like a buzz meeting before we filmed, we remembered, it's interesting. In our entire childhood, through all the wahala that was going on, wahala means like trouble or chaos. Through all the wahala that was going on, there are times when we will never forget how a few people made us feel. Because you see, what was constant was instability. You're going here and there. You live with some people will make you feel unwanted or even tell you directly. But I mentioned the sister of a certain priest that we lived with. She made us feel fantastic, welcomed us. It literally reminded us of those stories in the Bible where you see someone has so little and they share that little with you with all their heart. She would cook food, and then the little money that she would get from selling this illicit brew called changa, she would get that money and then she'd share with us, and she would serve us in the like special plates, those ceramic plates, while they would eat in the tins. I'll never forget her. Wherever she is, God bless her. Then we had an uncle. He's now passed away. We used to live with them in Roslyn. That uncle, wow. We lived with them for a time, and he had a way of blending us all as children. So you don't feel there's a separation. In other relatives' places where we lived, we were the maids. So you're the one who does you're always in the kitchen, and you're always holed up there, and the other people are playing, the other people are, are being children, while you're told where you belong and you're there. And it's really, as a child, it really puts a dent on your psyche. It creates a trauma. So we loved how the people who made us feel wonderful, I'm telling you, especially this uncle of mine, because he's a family member. You expect family members at least to show you love. They don't know what you've gone through. So some of them will treat you funny, but they don't know. So you can't blame them 100%. But these few who treat you well, my uncle, when I get to heaven, if we can buy each other nyama choma there, I would buy him nyama choma, which makes you feel like a human being, or at least not make you feel worse than you already been feeling all your childhood. So that's an important point. Anybody who's going through anything in life, whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you're going through this type of thing, better or even worse, there are people who are going through much worse, and they won't share in this way. When you watch this video, and I hope videos like this come to you, just know, no matter what you're going through right now, it will pass. So don't be afraid. Maybe you're not someone who likes to share, not a writer, you're not anyone, but express it in a way. Each person has their God. You have your water, as Blue said. If you don't have a safe space, which is a human being to share to, go talk to yourself, go somewhere, just talk, express it. Don't let anything eat you. We are created to enjoy ourselves, especially the young people, the Gen Zs, anyone who's in the similar situation, anyone who's growing up in chaos, or you're homeless, it will get better. Keep some faith. It must get better. And also, a lot of trauma comes from family members and the way people treat you. You see, the situation itself was not so traumatic because we didn't have food, but we had music. I had Blue, I had my mom, so we felt wonderful. But the people, be careful. The people around you might be the ones leaving dents in your life. Yes. So any other reflection?
I think
that's it.
That's it for now.
Okay.
Yes. So for further videos, we're going to share much more.
Yeah.
And this is a platform we have chosen to share, and we are happy, and we appreciate you, our audience.
Yeah.
And for now, I think we'll just say
cheers. Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Until the next video.
Okay. See you.